Hey everyone, it's 7:30 and I'm going to call this meeting of the Wakefield Youth Council into order. To start, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. So if we can all stand up.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to now take attendance. So Emily, Emily said she's on. Marcelo, up here. Thomas,
Here.
Declan,
Here.
Nathaniel, Parker,
Here.
Jonathan, Michaela,
Here.
Nico,
Here.
Ahmed, oh, he said he's not gonna be here. Same with Sophia, Ellie, Laurel,
Here.
Ava,
Here.
and Olivia said she'll not be. All right, so we have a form to proceed. Now for public comment, do we have any members of the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, I'm going to move on to our next agenda item, which is a Wakefield Human Rights Commission community project. So today I've invited Carrie Oken, who is a member of the Wakefield Human Rights Commission, to talk to us about this potential community project that the Human Rights Commission is looking to do with us.
Since I'm supposed to be on camera, figure I might as well, maybe, here, this is good. Okay. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate this. Not only am I a human rights commissioner, I'm also a member of the Council on Aging. So this is kind of an intergenerational thing. I am this year's chairman, I was last year as well, of our annual Martin Luther King Day celebration on Monday, January 20th. It's always a wonderful event. Music, dance, speeches, artwork, awards. It's always very inspirational. And I wanted to propose to all of you that you help us put together a subsequent community service project. We always do a project during that month or early February that is consistent with the spirit and the message of Martin Luther King, which is to give community service. And since I'm also on the Council on Aging, I thought you might have some ideas for how we can have a project that would be intergenerational, that may help seniors of the community, but also involve other members. Last year, our project was at the Boys and Girls Club. And some of you might have seen the walls in the art room at a beautiful Starry Night, the Vincent van Gogh Starry Night. We brought in a team to do the undercoating, the blue paint, before they put in all the stencils of all the stars and the swirls. And we had about 24 people from ages 8 to ages 75 years old working on that community project. So what we'd like to do is, again, involve members of the community with your help doing a project. And it can be at the senior center. The senior center, some of you might not know this, but the senior center is an old school. Right now, we use the first floor, we use the downstairs. There are 2 other floors, and the town has funded money, so they're now refurbishing those 2 other floors so they can expand the services. This town is wonderful on both ends of services for young people, everyone in the middle, and certainly for the senior population, of which I'm one. And I really greatly appreciate it for things like Tai Chi and art classes and Spanish lessons. And I don't know if you've ever seen the Pomcastics, but the Pomcastics are a group of women between 60 and 80 years old who are pom-pom girls, and they've even performed for the Patriots. So it's not an old, decrepit place. It's very vibrant people and vibrant ideas. Anyway, I really would like to get your input on what we might do as a special community service project. And by extension, how later in the year, because I've talked to Ali about this, how we can again do intergenerational projects. I know that you do snow angels, which is greatly appreciated. We started talking about leaf angels this week if snow angels takes off, for the future. But there's always lots that can be done to bring people together of all ages and to make Wakefield an even greater community than it already is. So with those words, I know I'm just throwing this out here and you haven't heard this before. Do you have any ideas what we might do as a project that can involve people in the community working together for the betterment, seniors or others in the community? And it takes place usually one Saturday morning. It's not even like a long-term thing. It's a day-long, a half-day-long project. Think about needs. And I know that tomorrow I'm meeting with Evan Reppert in the Inspire Cafe about the Boys and Girls Club and things that are going to go on there and how we can also bring people into the Inspire Cafe of different ages as well, involve the community. So there's a lot that can be integrated in this community. There's lots of opportunities for activism. And it's very rewarding. I mean, I joined the commission in May of 2020, the Human Rights Commission, and I joined the Council on Aging 2 years ago. And it's really enriched my life in Wakefield. And I've lived here over 20 years, and I just really love it. So if you don't have any ideas right at the moment, through Ali, get those ideas to me, because I will bring them back to the commission and to the council, and let's hope that we can work together. I would really like that very much.
Does anyone have any ideas to get us started? Yeah, Michaela.
Is there any, do you know if there's anything that the seniors at the senior center would like to see in the senior center, another activity or something to, implement into the senior center?
Well, that sounds like the kind of long-term intergenerational. They are doing gorgeous things to the second and third floor. And I said to the director, think about, is there something you'd like done on the main floor and in the cafeteria basement level to beautify this place? Is there anything maybe people can come in and do? So I have suggested that as a possibility. But if you're thinking more long-term, that's going to be another whole discussion. And we welcome it. We really, I know there are a lot of people out there that are isolated. They did actually a study on loneliness in this community, and it came up with some really disturbing information about people who feel isolated and lonely, especially those who are not as able to get out and do things on their own, and they're not able to. And these are folks that if they were tapped into the town, they'd know that the senior center will send a van and take them. Or they can find out information by signing up for newsletters through the town website. Or they can come to meetings this way if they really wanted to. But maybe that's a long-term project, helping those people learn how to connect to the greater community so they don't feel lonely. Something to think about. Yes.
So just an idea, in the future, just about loneliness. I've been to the senior center before because of fencing and stuff. I know that there's a cafeteria thing on the basement. What if every Saturday there could be youth volunteers from the high school or something to make food or something, or just something for company?
They're not open on Saturday.
Oh.
The people who make it to the senior center are mostly dealing with their loneliness, but there's a whole lot of other people out there who are not making it, and for some reason don't know that they could be picked up and brought there. I know that they do lunches twice a week, so people can socialize and do lunch. They play board games. We have all these classes. I take Tai Chi in 2 different senior centers, but they're not open on Saturday. Part of the issue with the senior center, even with the expanded space, is they don't have a lot of parking. I think there's a total of maybe 30 parking spots in the front and the back, and it's right in the middle of a residential neighborhood. So if they have a bigger event, there isn't anywhere for anyone to park except in front of people's houses up and down Converse Street, which would not be very popular. But Unfortunately, no, they're not open on Saturdays. They close by noon on Fridays even. But every other day they're open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Those people who you're saying are like feeling really isolated, do you have any way of contacting them? Like, or like how, do you have any ideas for how we would get that information to them? Is it just like door-to-door stuff that you would do? Like, is there any person-to-person action? Because in that case, like, maybe we could recruit like youth and high schoolers to help
Mhm.
do that, because then that gets them more involved and it gets them educated about the opportunities our town provides through their education of others, which I think could be really interesting.
Actually, I think that the town probably has the information from the survey respondents. And I'm sure they have demographic information about who lives where.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing would be that, you know, it would end up being promoted and advertised through the item,
Mhm.
because older folks will read the item.
Mhm.
They put it on the town website, they put it on Patch, they put it on Facebook.
Mhm.
And if necessary, maybe we have to go around and put flyers in people's doors if we know where they are.
Mhm.
You know, reach out to the people that are really totally isolated. But the people who answer the survey are people that have a computer connection. So that's a way to reach them. And yes, I think a lot of people that who are homebound or stuck in their houses most of the time would love company. And they have stories to tell. I mean, have any of you had interaction with, I mean, you have with your grandparents and older aunts and uncles, and they all have stories to tell. I mean, I'm of their age group and I listen to their stories because they have even more stories to tell. So, yes.
Does like how is the green space in the senior care center? Because maybe we could as an interesting fun program to do, we could do like a half day program on like planting some, learning how to plant, like do hydroponics in your house and do some hydroponics in the senior care center with like putting like little flowers in your windows or doing some community gardening.
Because the senior center has no dirt. They have, there's concrete around them. There's nothing. They don't have a yard, unfortunately. In fact, I wonder when it was a school, I guess the kids went out to play on tarmac. I mean, it was a school many, many decades ago. Yes.
What about for like continuing off the hydroponic idea? What about like in the building? Like, cause I know the Galvin had like these little like tower things with lights around them to like grow little plants. What if like those were around the senior center and like with that, they could like just learn how to maintain stuff like that?
And care for them. That's a great idea because then they also can share that food when they have their luncheons and special events.
Yeah, like do like herbs, stuff like that
Yeah.
in those.
That's one of the ideas I will write down that, and because that's ongoing. And maybe as a part of the Martin Luther King, that would be the day that we would start setting it up. Of course, we don't have that much time and there's holidays in between to get all the materials together and I don't know how to do it. Are you knowledgeable about how to do?
No, I just remember seeing something about it. There's also like little like home things almost, like we have one.
Mhm.
It's like Arrow Garden, I think. It's like
Yes.
these little things and it's like these like little pods where you can grow like herbs, stuff like that. It's really cool.
We would need town funding request to do that. I don't know if the youth council has money to contribute or not. You don't have. It would, I could ask the director of the Council on Aging if there's any funding available to get a project like that started. Because she would have to come up with the funding, because they do have funding, but it goes towards transportation and meals and having people come in and do special presentations. They have a nurse that comes in every Tuesday and takes people's blood pressure. They have a lot of things going on there.
Maybe like for the one day or half day in February for like the community like day, we can maybe do like a thing where like art, people with art and like food trucks come with like, and you bus around the seniors to like maybe the whatever, I forgot what the green space over there was called, but maybe like we do like a little event and then have volunteers. Maybe like that would like come and like sit with the seniors and like talk to them.
You're talking about hiring food trucks?
Well, like that, like it'd be like kind of like a community, like that's just like an example that would be like there. Maybe like just like have art murals and other
You're
stuff.
talking about something that takes about half a year to plan.
Okay.
Okay, I know because I plan big events like this. I started planning Martin Luther King Day last June. And I still don't have all the pieces nowhere near together. But if it's something to think about for the future, when you think about doing something that's bigger, remember, it takes a lot of hours to get all the pieces together. And if you involve food, it may involve getting health department permits, which is a big deal. If you're talking about providing transportation, it involves safety waivers and liability. We have people from the town here, and you know there's some legalities. We just can't do things casually, especially with people who are vulnerable, who they might have walkers, they might have canes, they might be walking, but they're not that steady. You know, we have to be really, really careful. But they do have special events frequently at the senior center. They do that. Think in terms of, like I said, a half day. It's something that we can pull together sometime in late January, early February. And you've come up with some wonderful ideas. In fact, I love the hydroponic one. If I could get funding so we can buy the pieces and
Those are
use that
garden
as a
things.
community
I know for a
project.
Like the little arrow garden things, like
Yeah.
I know they're like kind of inexpensive. I think it was like $50 for like the planter part of it.
I have to find out where they'd be willing to put them and could put them. There's a lot of windows there, but there's also a
Doesn't
lot of
even
people
need
moving
windows.
around near those windows. So I would ask about that.
Sorry, Laurel, you're raising your hand, sorry.
That's okay. I don't know if you guys probably might already do this at the senior center, but we could probably pull together like a group of young like kids like us, and we could do like an arts and crafts thing where maybe like each kid brings a different craft, and we can kind of like pair up with us like one of the seniors who's like interested in it, and I don't know, just like share stories while also like making crafts and like connecting through that almost is another idea.
They do have a program for people who do fabric work and needlepoint, and they do have an actual program for that right now. And starting in January, we're going to have artist space walk-in for anyone over 60 in any medium who wants to spend a couple of hours together painting, drawing, sketching, and giving feedback and getting feedback. So but doing something that's an event with students come in, they can integrate that as part of some of their special